good source of protein. There are a lot of companies out there that are like, oh, high protein, and it's like these cookies or these even like the peanut butter cups, and it's like, what does that even mean? Okay, it's like, is it high protein compared to the traditional source? And like the reality is it really going to make that much of a difference? So there was this cookie dough that we had seen at the store, and it was like high protein, and I think it had 3 grams of protein per serving in comparison to cookie dough, like traditional cookie dough, which had 1 gram of protein per serving. But we're sorry to tell you, if you are looking to get an extra 2 grams per serving, eating maybe a bullshit cookie dough, just go for the traditional cookie dough. Same thing like when it comes to like some of these like high protein peanut butter cups, like maybe the calories often are the same, and like for instance, or even like the big ass like the protein cookies, like some protein cookies are good, and if it helps you get more protein because you don't like meat or fish or whatever, like by all means. However, if the regular cookie tastes better and it doesn't provide that much more protein in your intake, it would might be better to find additional sources of protein.
Yeah, you can
Uh,
have a piece of meat, or even if you just had like a little protein shake with your cookie,
yeah,
and it's like, oh, fantastic. Yes, overall calories may be a little bit higher. So depending on your targets, you want to pick appropriately, but eating something just because it's advertised as, oh, this is a great source of protein, may not be the best situation.
yeah. Another reason why I wanted to bring this up is when we're looking at different like meats or even like sausages at the grocery store, hot dogs at the grocery store, and once again, things that advertise high protein. What does that even mean? You can look at like the protein to fat ratios. And so, sausage, you're like, oh, it's a great source of protein, or like bacon, it's a great source of protein. I'm like, is it really? Depending on the type of bacon, like the amount of fat in comparison to protein, like it might not be conducive to whatever phase you are in your diet.
And that would even like a good example for some of that too to watch out for. Sometimes people see things that are advertised like, oh, like it's a chicken sausage or a chicken meatball
Mhm.
versus traditional pork or beef, and they just assume like, oh, it's going to be better. So you'd want to flip it over and take a look, see how much fat it is. Typically, it's going to be better than traditional, but it doesn't mean just because it's made out of chicken that it's going to be low fat.
Totally. So there's this one guy I found on Instagram. He created, I think it's called
Me,
like the PE. No, not you. The PE diet. And he has a really like nice little hack to compare to see if something is 40% protein or more. And that's always like that's a decent amount of protein. So like that's a great thing of like high protein. Wow, 40% or more protein can be a phenomenal source of protein. And so this is something that you can utilize in your journey if this helps you identify some good protein sources. And so the way that it works is you take the total grams of protein and you multiply it by 10. So if we look at the Doritos, and neither of one of these, like it's not good, it's not bad, it's just facts and giving you that information out there. So if we're taking a look at Doritos, we're like, is this a good source of protein? And am I eating these Doritos because I want protein, or am I eating them because I just fucking like Doritos?
that's a
Um,
solid flavor.
and it's
That's one of my favorites.
so to do this, we would say, okay, protein is 2 grams in this. We multiply that by 10 and we get 20. We then take that total number that we just got, the 20, and we compare that to the total calories. If the number that we got by multiplying by 10 is greater than or equal to the calories that are listed on the package, then that means it's greater than or equal to 40% protein, which is phenomenal. If it's less than or equal to the calories that are listed on the package, then it's less than or equal to 40% protein. So if we compared the Doritos to the Quest, we can see that the Quest chips, they are 190. And the reason why we get that is because we take the 19 grams of protein, multiply that by 10 to get 190. And 190 is greater than 140 calories listed on the package. So like that is a great source of protein.
So if you want to, simply put it, it's like, all right, multiply the protein by 10, and if it is more than the overall calories in the bag, it's a pretty good ratio.
There you go. Same thing with this. So they're like beef jerkies, they can be a great source of protein, but even if we're just looking at the ratios on here, the total fat is equal to the total amount of protein. So that's very similar to a lot of like sausages or ribeyes. So same thing, you take the total amount of protein, multiply it by 10, you get 90. The calories listed on the package are 120, but the calories are higher than what you get, so it's not 40% more protein in comparison to the string cheese. Another
And so
thing,
that's a great example where some people that would like, be
yeah,
kind of a mind fuck. Like, oh,
totally.
like the meat's a good option because like meat protein, and they would think cheese is just like, oh, like fatty or it's not going to be as good. And this is where like a lot of this education, experience, practice, reading labels, testing things out, it makes all the difference in the world because it kind of goes against like the normal logical belief that society has or would want you to believe.
Yep. Even like thinking about different like meat comparisons, like pork tenderloin, 4 grams of fat in comparison to 23 grams of protein. Beef ribeye, 100 and this is for a big ass beef ribeye, 109 grams of fat to 155 grams of protein. Filet mignon, 8 grams of fat to 24 grams of protein. So if you took the same type of thought process with this, if we did the filet mignon, 24 times 10, you'd get 240, greater than 40% protein. You do it to the ribeye, it's 155 times 10, so 1550. So it would be less than 50 or 40% protein because it'd be 1550 in comparison to 1596. Even when we're talking about meat to meat. So this is where looking at the nutritional labels on the package make a difference if they have them, because you can have the filet mignon on the right that is lower in fat in comparison to this Angus beef filet mignon that is 26 grams of fat to 20 grams of protein. And that makes a difference as well. So scan labels when you can. If there is no label, then of course make sure that you search something that is comparable, because even like grass fed can register differently in comparison to non-grass fed when it comes to the amounts of fats.